Good evening, Mr. Watson, fellow classmates. This is my video dissertation on inspections versus pre-plans. And I did a bunch of research, and there are a lot of things that are pretty in common with each other, but I'm going to go through the main key differences and how I see it as myself, as an inspection versus pre-plan. Camera's going to be a little shaky, I'm doing it on my phone. So, inspections versus pre-plans. Inspections are primarily used depending on what you're doing. So if it's an annual inspection or it's for code compliance. Okay, this is what NFPA or whoever the dictating AHJ is for that commercial business or residential, that if they choose to be inspected, this is what states that is the safest that they're going to use, and they can vary a little bit, but there's not much variance. Okay, so inspections ensure code compliance that are effective for us to do our job and to protect life. Okay, so inspections are more in depth. Okay, they go in and they ensure that yes, this fire alarm system does work. The fire alarm control panel again has no settings. It's fully operational. Their water supply, their sprinklers do work. There are enough fire extinguishers per life or per occupancy in this building. The occupancy in this building does have panic hardware on the doors for over 100 civilians that would be in this occupancy at one time. So they're very in depth, and they're very focused on ensuring that they're at compliance. That is their job. So when you go in and you're doing an inspection, you're looking for things that would be detrimental to life safety in an instance. Now, pre-plans, when you go in and you pre-plan, what happens is you are looking for safe and effective ways to do your job. Okay, so say they set this building up, they did an inspection on it, and it's been fine. Now, when you do a pre-plan, the pre-plan is for your job. It's to ensure that you can do your job correctly and how to do it. So it's kind of like a reference map. So say I know that this commercial building is sprinklered. I know that this commercial building has 2 hydrants out front. I know that this commercial building has a false roof for ventilation purposes. I know I'm not going to be worried about, yes, the max. I will worry about the max occupancy load of this structure, but I'm not going to worry that if they're complying with it or not. I'm just going to say the max occupancy load is 200 at a time, so I could be dealing with 200 potential victims or potential occupants at one time under this fire load. And we pre-plan. How they similar are inspections and pre-plan, of course, but pre-plan we dictate our target hazards within our zone. Like in my zone, major target hazard is the marina. Okay, we pre-plan that thing like there's no tomorrow. I can tell you the initial, second, third, and what I'm getting on my 4th response, and where all my water supply is within a half mile radius, where it's sprinklered, what kind of sprinklers they do use. So a little bit things like that are in depth, but it's just to keep us in check on our pre-plans, how to do our job effectively, and this is how we can do it. So we're not walking in there blind. Inspections again, they are the map. They'll look at a building code and they'll ensure that everybody is in compliance, and that it kind of dictates, what their max standard is on that particular occupancy. So that's the very difference. The very difference is, inspections ensure that they're compliant, and pre-plans ensure we can do our job effectively. I mean, that's where the bottom line comes down to. Pre-plans, we don't walk in a pre-plan and be like, well, it'd be a lot better if you did this. We can't say that, as long as they're in code compliance, we have to work around our pre-plan. Say, well, pre-plan, say I have a commercial resident, or commercial residence, I have a commercial restaurant within our zone. It's about 45 seconds full response, and we pre-plan that thing like there's no tomorrow too, because it's always changing. This structure is always changing something. Okay, it's changed probably 5 times in the last 2 years. So of course they get inspected, and then we pre-plan it again. So okay, they met their inspection qualifications. Now we need to go in there pre-plan and see what's different for us, so how we can do our job effectively. It has a drop roof, or it has a false roof and a rain roof over it, and that was in compliance. And they have different types of HVAC systems. Now it doesn't have an HVAC system, so that's stuff that will go in our pre-plan. Things like the hydrants don't change effectively, but say if it was a residence going into say now that building was a residence and now it is a commercial type structure, you know, on my pre-plan I'm going to note my hydrant. Inspectors are going to ensure that that hydrant has the right amount of gallon flow per standard for within that distance of that occupancy. So that's how things vary. I think, again, inspectors ensure life safety through well-built plans and enforcing the code, and then pre-plans are just ensure that we do our job safely. So I hope this video is kind of what you were looking for. Again, you know, the reference material. So a lot of things, just me talking like this, a lot of things are different. But thank you very much.